Tension 101. So, the most important thing and the only aspect that's going to give you the most amount of your returns is going to be focusing on sticky feet. Now look, if you notice, if my opponent is so far away and she's out of the reach of my foot, right, there's a line, I never reach. Because every time I reach, a fast athletic person is going to come in and clear my knee line. So instead of reaching, right, what we do is we fall to a butt cheek. I want all my weight to feel like it's on this side, and I want one butt cheek up on the other side. From here, when my opponent comes in to engage, I immediately glue my top foot and I take my toe line and I hook it right around that Achilles. From here, pay attention to the side of my foot. Now I connect my top foot and the side of my secondary foot. From here, when my opponent tries to pull away, I'm sticky. I'm always sticky. That's the most important thing. From here, right, now you can take a third point of contact and start working into your RDLs, your reverse RDLs, whatever there is, or you can even work into quarter guard, right? So from here, when I take my third point of contact, I lift my opponent's foot off the ground so she cannot generate any kind of kinetic energy. From here, I do a foot pass off and I lock in my quarter guard. So from here, if my opponent passes my knee line because they're a fast wrestler, right? Most people will teach you to post on the far side shoulder and bring your leg over and retain guard this way. But for me, I am very, very below average mobility. So I found a better way to retain guard when they pass your knee line, right, is to turn into them. In a tournament, you see people turn away so they don't get any points taken, but they expose their back. From here, we're going to go into running man. I'm always going to maintain inside position with my elbow on my center line where my belly button is. From here, I go into running man, right? And I use my wrist and my thigh to keep pressure on the back of my opponent's calves. From here, I take my secondary hand and I push it right on top of this ankle. As I start to force her, right, to come around me to try to armbar me, I lift the foot up with my hand. From here, I do a pass off again and I force them to play quarter guard. And as you notice, when I'm squeezing my thighs, it's just my thighs. Try to pull me, Tina. This is what you want. You want to be a vice grip. Remember, most of your opponents are never really going to stay in front of you, right? They're always going to want to cut an angle. Why? Because when they're directly in front, it's very easy for you to get your sticky hooks in. So most likely, they're going to take grips and they're going to start cutting an angle. Cut an angle? Just freeze right there. Why? Because it takes me a lot of effort to start throwing my legs around. I have to shrink my ass out. It's too much time and there's a high work rate. Come back. Instead of that, most players today are all copying Gordon Ryan. So they're all forcing half guard, right? So instead of wasting all this time trying to retain guard, another option is just to let them force half guard, right? So we fall to a side, we go into running man, and now we force our opponent to play in front of us, in the direction that my secondary foot is pointing. If they try to run around this way, right, we always shift in that same direction. So when we force them in this direction, although we limit our own ability to generate kinetic force, we also limit their ability to generate kinetic force. So if we understand the route they're going to take, it becomes very easy to start forcing a half guard or forcing a quarter guard.